All right, welcome to our weekly press conference. Again, we're going to go with our normal thing that we've been doing all year, where if you have a question, please ask for the microphone so that people that are watching on the stream or in with our recordings can have the question as well as the answer. We're going to start with Coach Ford. Obviously, disappointing, frustrating way to end that game. The Big Sky Conference released a statement today on that. Coach may bring it up in the press conference, but we're moving forward, and we're going to focus on this week. But we'll start with the opening statement from Coach Ford and then go forward. But obviously, state bragging rights on the line this week with Idaho State coming in for the Battle of Potato State Trophy. We're excited for another home game and to be in front of our home fans. But I'll go ahead and turn it over to Coach Ford, and then we will have Coach Alex Pribble as well afterwards. So, Coach.
Thanks, Jarek. Obviously not the outcome we were looking for. Felt like our team played well enough to win the football game and had some unfortunate circumstances at the end there that didn't allow us to come back to Moscow with a victory. But I'm incredibly happy with the way the players played. I thought our guys played extremely hard. I thought they really did a great job having great resolve and just continuing to play. Thought we played complementary football. I thought our defense, offense, special teams definitely executed at a high level and, again, had a chance at the end to win the football game. We've had a ton of one-possession games this year, and obviously the ball did not bounce our way in a lot of them, but I also know that's how close we are to being a playoff football team. The last two road games we go down with great plans, and we execute very well, against very good competition. And I think that's something that is very, very optimistic, and we're very hopeful in terms of building for the future. And so very happy with our players. I know our guys are excited to get back home and play in the Kibbie Dome this weekend against, a rival school in Idaho State. And we're really looking to move forward. We really kind of talked about it yesterday as kind of flushing it, right? And there isn't anything that we can do to go back in time, but there's certainly a lot we can do to prepare for the future. So that's really what we have our sights set on, is moving forward with Idaho State and getting our last home game and sending our seniors off with a bang. So with that being said, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, I know you want to move past it, but just wanted to ask if you had any reaction or comments on what the Big Sky put out today on the news of the officiating.
It's I think it shows that the Big Sky cares, and they didn't get it right, in the moment, but wanted to make it right as best they could. And obviously you can't go back and replay the down by any stretch, but it was good to be validated in the sense that they did make a statement to get it right, and I'm very appreciative of the Big Sky and the commissioner for doing so.
What do you think the emotions are going to be like this week as you guys get ready for not only an emotional rivalry game, but the last game of the season, last game for these seniors? Yeah,
I think you got to handle all of those emotions. Our group, I believe, will handle it in the most positive way. The seniors in this program have given a tremendous amount to the program and have really led the way and given our younger players the blueprint on how to be successful at this level. And I know that our young guys want to send them out with a bang. So it's going to be highly emotional, I'm sure. But I think it's going to be in a good way, right? Using that emotion to really fuel our guys to play a good four-quarter game, right? And maybe more, right? 4+. We know what that looks like as well. But definitely excited for the opportunity and want to send those seniors out the right way.
Yeah, Coach, you said send your shoes out with a bang. Are you doing anything specific this week to I guess, boost their confidence, boost their excitement for their final game?
I don't think there's much I need to do to get those guys excited. We had our corrections practice last night, and the seniors were just excited by nature. They know that this is the last one that they'll have in a Vandal uniform, and I think they're just really looking forward to putting together a great week, because obviously it doesn't just happen on Saturday. And so I think those guys have very positive attitudes. They're very optimistic about everything that's happened this season, even though maybe our record does not show that. But I think that this group is really excited and fired up to play their final game in the Kibbe Dome.
And we spoke about it a little bit after the game, but Coach Linehan was on the sideline. I didn't see him without a headset. Was he calling plays or was he not calling plays?
No, so I mean, we just trying something a little bit different, trying to get him a little bit better eyes upstairs with Coach Powell. Getting Coach Linehan a different vantage point, and again, he's just going to continue to do a great job coaching up those quarterbacks and getting the offense going.
You're in a unique position as you knew some of these seniors before they were seniors, the ones that were here, and then now you come in and I'm sure there's some more that were added into the fold.
Sure.
Just kind of when you look at this senior class as a whole and all the different stories they have, kind of what comes to mind for you of the impact they've made on this program, sure, but also on you?
Oh gosh, I mean, obviously the impact they've made within the program is tremendous. I mean, these guys were a part of changing the guard, so to speak. Getting us to having high expectations, having playoff aspirations year in, year out. And so from that standpoint, they've given everything to make that happen. And again, to lay the blueprint and the foundation for our younger players. And obviously for me, these guys have left a huge impact on me. A lot of these guys really wanted me to be the head coach when Coach Eck left. And that speaks, I think, volumes for itself. Just their relationship that we've had over the past really 4 years now, and their ability to, just really lead, and not just, rah-rah lead, right? Truly lead by example, doing the things behind the scenes no one talks about, having their player-only meetings, really leading the charge and doing it the right way. And so these guys will forever have an impact on me for not only being great players, but just being really good human beings, guys that I know are going to have tremendous success in whatever they get into next in life. And hopefully for some of them, they continue to play. And I know there's going to be, a few guys in that senior class will certainly have an opportunity.
As you look back on this year, have you had any insights yet as to what happened, why you're not going back to the playoffs for a fourth straight year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of things, right? We had a very young team to start, and we got into some really close games that I don't know that those guys had been in those situations yet in their career. We had a 2-game stint without our starting quarterback, and I think our offense really kind of sputtered without him in the lineup. And so I think it's a culmination of things. We've also played some really good teams. We lost to, a couple FBS schools by 3 points. We lost to, obviously, this last one against Sac State by 3. And, all of our games have been decided by, 2 possessions or less. And so, yes, there was a lot of things that you can point to, but I think overall it's just a program learning how to win without a lot of guys that played for them a year ago. And so I think what you have seen is the growth of this program and the growth of the team. They were youthful in the beginning and became a much more veteran group, especially on defense, right? When we returned only one returning starter, now all of a sudden we're playing defense at a high level. I believe we're 3rd in the conference in both scoring defense and total defense. So that group has really grown tremendously. And I think although our record may not show it, I think there's been a lot of growth in this program this season.
Which kind of begs the question, what's recruiting going to look like? What are you looking for? What does this team need?
I think high school recruiting, we're pretty much done. I think we've got 19 committed guys. We've got a very good class. Obviously, we got to sign them until they actually sign on the dotted line. We don't have them, but I know we're going to continue to recruit them hard. Nobody has shown any signs of wavering, and they are very supportive of the program. They're watching every game, focusing as hard as they can on kind of learning the culture as they watch it from their TVs. But recruiting wise, as far as transfers, you don't know necessarily exactly what you need, but we kind of need a little bit of everything, right? So we'll really take a look at all of those needs, but I would imagine that we'll take probably 7 or 8 transfers, which is a far cry from the 25 or 30 we needed last year. So again, obviously we potentially could need more if we get guys departing we weren't expecting to, but have not really had many grumblings of that. But again, you don't know until they tell you, and the portal doesn't open until January 2nd. So we have a little bit of time, but our high school recruiting class feel very strongly about that. if we sign everyone that is committed to us, it will be the highest ranked recruiting class in the school's history. And then we'll, again, look at what transfer needs that we'll have to kind of fill spots. But again, it's not going to be the 25 to 30 that we needed a year ago.
You probably experienced this when you were here the first time. How fun is it to introduce players who have never, suited up against Idaho State for Idaho, like introduce them to the rivalry? And what does that look like? Do you guys do anything special this week in terms of, rivalry countdown or anything?
Yeah, I mean, we do some things. We talk a little bit about, our program and how we genuinely do not like their program. Now, I think Coach Hawkins is an awesome coach. He's an awesome guy. So there's no hard feelings by any stretch. But when we're taking the field, right, there's no friends on the field. And I think exposing our young guys to this rivalry is going to be really fun this week. We didn't give away too much yesterday, but we've got a pretty fun team meeting scheduled for tomorrow that'll really introduce them to this rivalry. So very much looking forward to getting back in the dome and playing against these guys.
It's an air it out offense for them. But when you look at the stats, they've only allowed 3 sacks this year, I believe. So, what is it like for the defensive line and kind of like the front seven as they prepare for, a chance to try and get to a quarterback that hasn't been on the ground a lot this year?
Yeah, they do a phenomenal job protecting him. Their quarterback number 1 is a good athlete. He can get out of trouble himself. I think they do a great job with their protection plan, getting the ball out very quickly. And then he's athletic enough to extend plays. And so sometimes as a pass rusher, you have to have a lot of patience when you play against a team like this. And you really have to do a great job of owning your assignment, and the sacks will come. I don't think you can really force them against a team like this. So I think it's going to be a act of patience with that front 7 group. But make no mistake, they can run the football very well. Their running back number 28, I think he has almost 1,000 yards on the season. He's had 2 games with, I think, over 200 yards rushing. And so they do a really good job being balanced as well. Yes, they air it out and they're going to throw it around, but they do a phenomenal job on the ground too. So we've got a lot to prepare for defensively, but I know our kids are really excited for the challenge.
Offensively, you made some adjustments in the second half. What kind of adjustments do you want to make going into the Idaho State game?
Yeah, I think, we've just got to continue to have a great balance of run, pass, move in the pocket, not allowing their defense to just pin their ears back and become pass rushers. We've got to be multi-dimensional with our screen game, boot game, movement, and really trying to keep them off balance as best we can, because they have given up some yards, but they do a great job keeping teams out of the end zone. And so I think that's going to be the challenge for us, is just to continue to move the chains, have efficient drives, and not have 3 and outs, because the last thing you want to do is give that offense the ball back more than you need to.
I know sometimes we ask on Monday and you say wait till Thursday. But you had a lot of injured guys against Sac State. Are there any guys expected back? Eli coming up?
We'll know more on Eli here shortly. Hopefully he's able to go. But I thought, Carlos Matheny really stepped up this past week. Obviously Nate Thomas is a very good back. I believe we'll get Marquand McCraney back from a head injury. He practiced yesterday and had no symptoms, so I believe he'll be ready to go. Hopefully have Ryan Jesiaro back, but he's kind of hopefully know by Wednesday or Thursday on him. So we'll get a couple guys back. We had a couple defensive backs that were banged up, one of which will be out. Hayden John will be out for sure. Hopefully Matt Irwin's able to play. He's going to be another game time decision. So those are just a few of the guys I know off the top of my head. But we're certainly excited about getting Marquand back, because he's a difference maker.
And just talk about the rivalry. Obviously, you see that beautiful trophy right there made by Jarek, an Idaho trophy. What would it mean to keep that trophy? And what does it mean to lift that trophy hopefully eventually?
Yeah, it'd mean the world, right? We've got a couple of traveling trophies, and we lost 2 of them. And so maintaining this one in that case will be huge. I know it's something that means a lot to our players, and certainly means a lot to our coaching staff as well.
Sorry to backtrack here.
That's okay.
Going back to one of Trevor's earlier questions, and I'll raise my hand and say I didn't see Coach Linehan on the sidelines. Could you just clarify, is he still calling plays just from the sidelines, or is he?
We're like I said, we're just trying something a little bit different. We're trying to get, whenever things whenever you look at things and you think you need a change, we're going to look at all changes. And so we're just changing the angle on which he's looking, getting the information he's getting is something that we're looking at. And we did have a lot of success with it. We were much better on third down. We were 7 of 12 on third down, much better in the red zone. We were 4 for 4 in the red zone. So I think those changes are definitely appearing to be working.
What's the goal? You say you need changes with getting him to the sidelines. What's the better vantage from being down there?
I think more than anything, getting good information up top. Just getting. Coach Powell has done this for a long time, and so I think he's going to give him great information. And it's just, again, more than anything, changing what we were doing. We had hit a sputter really on conversion downs over the last 5 games, and that's something that we had to get fixed in a hurry. And so we looked at making some changes that way.
That's interesting. Just following up on that conversion downs. If you guys get behind in this game, it's your last game. What are you going to tell them? What are you going to keep them from just phoning in the rest of the game?
Well, I don't think our kids would phone in any games. We've been down before. For example, our last home game, we went down to the number 10 team in the nation, 28-7, fumbled the next kickoff return, and didn't allow a single point the rest of the game. And so I don't see that even being an option for these guys. Whether we're down, whether we're up, this group's going to keep playing really, really hard and playing for each other. All right, thank you guys. V's up.
We're gonna move on to Coach Pribble. Vandals men hoops coming off of a weekend trip to San Diego. A couple really close losses for the Vandals. Without starter Christian Gonzalez was out. Hope to have him back pretty quick. Back home this week for Eastern Oregon on Saturday afternoon after the football game at 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. Then we are on the road for the Holiday Hoops Classic in Boise. So we will not have a press conference next week because of that. But two games on Wednesday and Friday in Boise. It should be a heck of a MTE down there at the Idaho Central Arena. So go ahead, turn it over to Coach Pribble.
All right. Thank you, Jarek. Excited to be back home with y'all after a tough road trip, but a very important road trip for us. This time of the year, everything is process over product. That's really the phrase that we use a lot. It's about getting better. It's about finding the areas within our team and within our program that we need to improve on for Big Sky Conference. So, I think we opened the season with a lot of momentum. Obviously, the win over Washington State, a solid game against Whitman. There was a lot of positive kind of momentum within our program. And then we very intentionally played some very good, powerful mid-major programs. UC San Diego won 30 games last year and almost upset Michigan in the NCAA tournament. USD, Coach Lav. I was in high school in California watching Coach Lav's teams when he was at UCLA, right? Obviously a legendary coach and a very good program. So 2 really good opportunities for us to challenge ourselves against teams that are, what would be top tier Big Sky opponents. And so I think it was really good for us to go down there, battle both of those teams. There were some good things to learn from, and obviously a lot of areas of improvement as well. We need to become a more consistent ball club. I think very, very proud of the effort on the glass. That's been an emphasis for us. You get what you emphasize. We've been emphasizing rebounding, and really, we're the number 6 team in the nation right now in defensive rebounding percentage, which is a huge point of just focus for us. And then offensively, we're turning the ball over too much. We got to take care of it a little bit. I think some of our guards who have been proven shot makers in the past are just still, working to kind of find their rhythm right now. Obviously not having Gonzalez, our leading scorer in the lineup, hurt a little bit as well, but it's a good opportunity for other guys to step up that we're going to need throughout the year. So, I think the guys did a great job this morning focusing on our GBT film, our Get Better tape, right? The areas that we need to improve. And it's just all about the process, like I started this off with. So I'm excited to be back home, excited to continue our process towards getting better. Big opportunity at home on Saturday against an Eastern Oregon team. And then, obviously this very challenging tournament down in Boise back in front of our Treasure Valley Vandals. So I'm excited about these next couple of weeks and just we're in it now. So, yeah, fun time of year. Questions?
Yeah, Yeah, Coach. Maybe not against San Diego, but Jackson has been leading your team and scoring a few times.
Yep.
True freshman. What can you tell me about him and his prior experience and maybe how he's affecting the Vandals?
Yeah, tough kid. Not your typical freshman. 20-year-old freshman with a little size, little physicality, and just some true toughness to him. He played at a high level of prep basketball, was at Utah Prep with, AJ DeBonsa and some of the best incoming players in the country. So he's played against a lot of competition. So it's kind of allowed him to be very confident and hit the ground running here in college. So it always helps to be kind of young. You're not a lot of scouting reports yet either. So I think he caught a couple teams by surprise, and he's just got the ability to score inside, score outside, and create a lot for our team. But hasn't just been the scoring. He's defending very well. He's rebounding it very well. Kind of winning the matchup at that power forward position most games. And so, yeah, really excited about the start from Jackson, but just like the rest of our guys, a lot of areas that he needs to improve on. And I know he's committed to that.
And Brody seems to have some impact too on the boards and scoring wise as well.
Yeah.
What kind of impact does he have on the Vandals so far?
Yeah, I keep referring to Brody kind of as our rock, right? He's a kid who started 81 games in his career already. We knew we were going to get an experienced player, and he's just so tough and he's so consistent. And that's what you need. Our front court has done a really good job. That's where we have a lot of new faces, right? Jackson, like you mentioned, Brody. I think Seth Joba has done a really good job for us as well in the front court. So those three guys with the size, the physicality, and just the consistency that they've shown so far, we're really excited about. So when you come to the Big Sky, I think, our front court will match up very well with any other front court in the conference.
Anything that kind of set off your alarm bells in the loss, or is that just kind of the outcome of playing a tough non-conference schedule in college basketball sometimes?
Yeah, a couple things we got to get better at. I think against that San Diego team, we didn't come out of the gates taking care of the ball very well. We struggled a little bit offensively. There's some issues with preparation early in the season as well. They have a starting two guard on that team, actually played point guard most of the game. ACC transfer, played 25 minutes a game for Wake Forest last year. He had only played 2 minutes so far this season. He was down with the flu, and we had some mixed information. And basically, I don't know if we prepared as well as we could have for him. And he was really tough. Him and Juanze Gorcito, their backcourt, were really, really good in that game. There were adjustments we needed to make defensively. I think our preparation, again, could have been a little bit better if we knew what was coming at us. And then look, they played well. They got a lot of talent on that team. Credit Coach Lav. I talked about this last week, but they did a really good job bringing in new talented players. They got a kid that looks like Nate has a party down low that's played professional basketball in Europe for a couple of years, and he banged 3 big threes against us that I don't know if we were prepared for. And again, that's early season stuff that I think later in the year, we'll make sure our scouting reports and preparation, we'll just have more information to base that off of. But this time of the year, you just got to adjust the best you can during the game. I think you got to give them some credit for making some shots, but definitely need to take care of the ball better, really in both games. The UC San Diego game, I thought our preparation was fantastic. Having a 10-point lead against a 30-win team from last year going into halftime was a great thing. We kind of got some confidence from that, but then early in the second half, we turned the ball over too much and struggled a little bit in transition defense as well, another area we need to get better at. So, look, there's a lot of areas of improvement, a lot of things that we need to focus on, and our goal is just to get 1% better every day.
Here, Nate's got a jumper too. So, what would you like to see your team do in this game against EOU before you get ready for the Holiday Hoops Classic?
Yeah, again, it starts for us with defense and rebounding. Our rebound has been a strength, but it's going to be an area that we focus on every single game. And so we're going to have a size advantage. We need to make sure that we're kind of imposing our will physically, and that's going to show up on the glass. And then the defensive end, protecting the rim and guarding the three-point line well is a piece of it too. I think there's been stretches this year where we haven't guarded the three-point line as well as we need to. So those are all areas that we'll need to improve on. And then, they're a good team. Eastern Oregon's a good NAIA team. They've had some success already this year. And so for us, it's about focusing on our areas of improvement defensively and on the glass, offensively, valuing every possession, making sure our shot selection improves a little bit. I think we've been forcing it a little bit. Need to make sure that we're generating great shots every possession as well.
Yeah, Coach, Holiday Hoops Classic, obviously there's excitement, but at the same time, you have to treat it like any other game, any other tournament. How do you bring that excitement to your team, but also keep them calm and keep them collected?
Yeah, I think playing in Boise, playing in the arena that our conference tournament is held at is a big deal for us. We want our guys to feel very comfortable in that gym. So just playing in front of, again, the Vandal fans down there, playing in that building, I think that's going to generate a lot of excitement. Being around the holidays, having families in town, there should be a lot of really good vibes down there, and we're excited about that. Now, with that said, it's mostly about playing other top-tier mid-major programs. That's still the way we design the schedule. So Northridge is a 20-plus win team. Very, very talented, very well coached. It's going to be a big challenge there on Wednesday night. And then you followed up with, a Conference USA opponent, Sam Houston State, that is a kind of a grinded out, tough physical opponent. So really good opportunities for us to prepare ourselves for Big Sky. I think Sam Houston State has some similarities to Montana in the physicality that they play the game with. Cal State Northridge has some similarities to Portland State in the way they can drive the ball and get in the paint and spread you out and pressure you a little bit defensively. So these are all things that, are going to be learning opportunities for us. Would it have been nice to come away with a win or two down there and learn through winning rather than learn through losing? Absolutely. But it's just about challenging ourselves right now and continuing to improve. Yeah.
I know that the sports are different, the way you design the schedules are different, but you had a close-up view of a football team football team that came into the year with high expectations and didn't realize them. Anything you're taking away from that to guard against happening to the basketball team?
I love learning from other coaches and other people's experiences. I think Coach Ford, I learn from him all the time. I think he's an unbelievable person and a great leader. I talk to him all the time. There's a lot of lessons I could take from him. I'll take the most recent one. I think he just put on an absolute show of class and professionalism with the press conference that he just gave 10 minutes ago, right? To go through the experiences that he just went through and to be able to just control what he can control and, provide leadership to his players from that standpoint. That was an absolute, class in class, right? It was just fantastic. So, I love Coach Ford, but I can say the same thing about Coach Clevenger with the women's soccer team and, Coach Arthur with the women's basketball team. I watch them practice whenever I can, particularly in the off season. It's just, I think when you work in an environment around such great people, you want to learn from them. You want to soak up as much as you can. And so, you can say Coach Ford and his group didn't realize the expectations this year, but there was a lot of new players and everything that you talked about is true. And I think they've continued to battle, and I'm just a fan. I just love his team. I love his group. I love his young men. I see how hard they work every day in the weight room. It's inspiring. So, on a similar note, we're going to control what we can control, which is getting better every day. Right. And we're a long ways away from Big Sky play and really March Madness. And that's when we need to be playing our best basketball. So it's just a day by day process right now. And, focused on the next most important thing, which is a good week of practice and preparing for Eastern Oregon. Yeah.
Any more questions?
At this time of year, are you able to keep an eye on the other Big Sky teams, or do you save that scouting for down the road? Because I'm sure you guys are busy, looking at whatever next opponent's on the schedule.
Yeah, we do. Not from a scouting standpoint, but just from a competitive standpoint. Again, our goal, it's a one bid league. Our goal is to play in March Madness. So we're always kind of keeping an eye on the other teams. And there's the Big Sky is both wide open and extremely competitive this year. I don't think there's tremendous difference between the top of the league and the bottom of the league. Every night is going to be an absolute battle, but every night is going to be a winnable game. And I think that makes for an exciting season. So it's about, the margins are so slim right now. It's about who can get better between now and January, and I think that's really what our focus is on. I think, it's not about who's playing better basketball right now, but it's about who's playing better basketball in the next month and a half. And so, our process is good. Our guys are bought into it. We're going to continue to improve and get better. Hopefully we can get healthy and get Christian back at some point in time, leading into the conference as well. And if that all comes together, we feel very confident that we can make a run at this thing. Obviously there's some very competitive basketball being played. Montana beating UNLV. Northern Colorado just had a win over a WCC opponent last night. There's a lot of high major games that have been very tight. Montana State playing Colorado to a 2-possession game. There's just a lot of examples of teams that have played well so far early in the year, but it's about who gets better from now until January. And so I think our guys work extremely hard. I think our process is clean, and we're just excited to keep taking strides forward. Yeah.
Sorry, Coach, I just got one more for you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You guys have such a Idaho-based team.
Yeah.
What does it mean for them to be playing in Boise?
Yeah, I think similar to that Boise State game, it's a great opportunity to play in front of their fans and their friends and the coaching staffs that they played for in high school. There's just a lot of support down there. And so I think it's meaningful. We want to play well down there. We want to represent our state well. And I think, having the 5 Idaho guys, it might mean a little more to them. But at this point in time, it's also just about doing something special as a group. And I think our guys understand we're in it now, and we do have the opportunity to do something great this year. So it's just about, playing as well as we can and continuing to improve on our weaknesses. So, yeah, it's special to be down there in Boise and to play in that arena. It's hopefully where we can make some magic happen in early March this year. So yeah, another great opportunity for us. All right. Thank you all. Go Vandals.